Hi guys, it's Thommo and I'm back with another quick fire review. First one I've done in a long time, but it's one that's definitely got people talking, this film, and it's Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, directed by Zack Snyder. Now I just want to kick off this review by saying that I am probably one of the biggest Man of Steel fans out there. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant film and I think it's among one of the best superhero films there's ever been. Now, going into Dawn of Justice, I was certainly expecting great things, don't get me wrong, but then there was one particular trailer that had me questioning the film, and having now seen the film, I think I was right to question it. I think this is very much a film that is a mixed bag. It has some very, very good things, and there's some pretty diabolical, unacceptable things in there as well. I think on the positive side of things, I think first of all I've got to say about Ben Affleck's Batman, probably one of the best on-screen Batmans that we've seen. I think he brings a whole new dynamic to the character. I think we have been treated to a really great representation of an older version of Batman. There are issues with the character in the film. I think the decisions made within this film are somewhat questionable, especially Batman killing individuals, which is something that is very much against his whole code and against the whole idea that he's very much on the cusp of being almost like a villain, but he never quite gets to that point. And I think that's one of the intriguing parts of Batman's character that they've almost thrown away. But nevertheless, Ben Affleck is probably one of the best things about this film. I think Gal Gadot is also immense in this film. A lot of people have been complaining of the fact that she's not bulked out a bit in her character, but if they wanted us to find out more about Wonder Woman, then they would have called this Batman versus Superman versus Wonder Woman. I think that the whole point of her having a singular film is so that we do get this character fleshed out, and I think it was quite nice for her to have a decent part in this film, and it worked really well. I also really liked the newest portrayal of Alfred by Jeremy Irons. I thought he did a great turn as Michael Caine's successor. I think there's a lot more to come from him, certainly, and I think there's some really good one-liners that he threw in there. And I also really enjoyed Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I know a lot of people had much to say about his craziness, but I think in the craziness that he brought to screen, he's certainly made sure that we know that Lex is pretty much a maniac, and obviously we see that in his actions as well. So I can't fault him at all, and I'd like to see a lot more of him once again going forward. As for the disadvantages and the sticking points for me, considering this was supposed to be a Man of Steel sequel, we didn't really get a lot of the Man of Steel, to be fair. I think this is very much focusing more on Batman than it was Superman, and that let it down. And I think that was almost a defining factor in the ending of the film not quite working as much as it probably should have. I think the first half of the film seemed a bit of a mess as well. I think there were a lot of subplots, a lot of Justice League shoe-ins thrown in there, and a lot of dream sequences that seemed really out of place and quite questionable. And I think it just made for the first half of the film, which certainly had its moments, but it really felt messy. And for me, the second half of the film was much better. I thought the action sequences and the whole presentation of it looked great. Some people are going to say it's like Michael Bay. Fair enough. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite riveting. I thought the way that the heroes worked together was really good. And I think it was really well executed and made for what we expect from a superhero blockbuster. Overall, I think this is a good film. I don't think it's anything more than a good film. It felt like Zack Snyder was very much more focused on setting up the Justice League than actually padding out and bulking up his story within this film. There were a lot of quite preposterous moments, especially concerning a specific email between Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman. I thought that was really silly. And say it had its moments. There were some really great action sequences, especially with Batman involved. And I think there's plenty of ground to build upon. It certainly is nowhere near the level of Man of Steel, but there's lessons to be learned, and I think hopefully Snyder and his team will listen to the fans, as they've said they are the important ones, and we get a much improved Justice League film in the future. But I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman now, so let's see how that one pans out first. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoy my latest quickfire review. Not as quickfire as my others, but I think there's a lot to get through in this film, and there's a lot of talking points which I've kind of glazed across, but I think I've mentioned all of them, that all of my concerns and all of what I liked about the film in this video. Please leave me some comments. It'd be really good to let me know how you experience the film and what you think going forward for this franchise. And make sure you subscribe. It'll be really good, and I'm going to be bringing a lot more quickfire reviews very soon. So until the next time, take care.